Hello everyone, it's Monday and we're doing another Commander Spotlight, and today we're going to do our mono black Commander deck. At the helm we have Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia. It's a legendary 2 creature. It's a 1/1 human wizard for 1 and a black. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. Decayed means that it can't block, and when it attacks it gets sacrificed at the end of combat. The main goal of the deck is to make creatures, sacrifice those creatures for value, whether it be card draw or pinging the enemies, to eventually get to the end game, which is Torment of Hellfire, and casting this for as much mana as possible. So how do we get there? Well, we have our Piper of the Swarm to generate tokens, and we sacrifice 3 rats to gain control of target creature, which again, I like playing with other people's cards. Ophiomancer, at the beginning of each upkeep, if you don't control a snake, you make a 1/1 snake creature token with Death Touch. We also have Westvale Abbey, which I don't have right here, and Westvale Abbey allows you to create creature tokens that you sacrifice to the payoffs, and if you want, you can pay 5, sacrifice 5 creatures to transform it. Turns into a 9/7 with flying, lifelink, indestructible, and haste. So not really a win condition, but if you get that out, it can definitely help turn things to your side. A few ways to sacrifice our creatures. We got Phyrexian Tower for mana, Lampad of Death Vigil to ping opponents for 1 and you gain a life. Whisper, Blood Liturgist, sacrifice 2 creatures to bring back a creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. Woestrider, we can use him to scry himself, making goat tokens. Grim Haruspex, it's a payoff. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card, which leads us to our payoffs. Where are they? Another payoff, sacrificing 2 creatures. You target any number of players. They each lose 2 life. They sacrifice creatures. You add 2 black and draw a card. Phyrexian Arena, you lose a life and draw a card at your upkeep. So that's our card draw. We're going to continue with the pingers. Crypt Rats deals X damage to each creature and each player. You spend only black mana on X. And when creatures die, they trigger Falconwrath Noble. Target player loses a life, you gain a life. Butcher of Malakir, when a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. More pingers. Dread Presence, whenever a swamp enters the battlefield under my control, choose 1, draw a card, lose a life, or 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2. And the final pinger that we have is Gray, Merchant of Asphodel. When it enters, each opponent loses X life for X's devotion to black, and you gain life equal to life lost that way. So that's another way to hurt our opponent, which is the purpose of this deck, is to slowly ping them so that when you do cast Torment of Hellfire, they won't have as much life or as many creatures permanent to sacrifice. Revenge of Ravens is in here to dissuade people from attacking you, and if they do attack, that creature's controller loses 1 life. So that's for each creature that they attack with. Got Toxic Deluge to help clear the board, which helps with Torment of Hailfire. Black Sun Zenith does the same thing. Defile is targeted removal, which goes into our next category, which is targeted removal. Sadistic Obsession is a targeted removal that you can do over and over. You enchant a creature, and then when that creature is enchanted, you pay a black, tap, and you put a -1/-1 counter on a target creature. Do it over and over and over, you eventually clear the board out. Tooth Collector does the same thing. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1. If you have Delirium, which is if you have 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, target creature that player controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So again, it helps weaken your opponent's creatures, and -1/-1 gets past indestructible. Playcrafter, another one, is when it enters, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. And if they can't, they discard a card. So again, it gets through indestructible, it gets through hexproof because they sacrifice it. And Murderous Rider is going to round out our target removal. For 1 and 2 black, you destroy target creature or planeswalker, and you lose 2 life. It has lifelink, and when it dies, whenever you cast Murderous Rider, when it dies, it goes back to the bottom of your library. Now, there are a few tutors. There's a few ways to get some of the creatures and things that you need. Grim Servant will help us get Torment of Hailfire, because when it enters, search your library for a card with mana value less than or equal to your devotion to black. Torment of Hailfire. It's a 2 and X, so it's going to be able to be brought up quickly. Now, if you can't get that, we have Buried Alive. Search your library for up to 3 creature cards, put them into your graveyard, then shuffle, so you can use this to bring creatures that you want into your graveyard, and then bring them back with Reanimate or Forever Young, which puts it on top of your library and you draw a card. To get all that mana, we got Dark Ritual, Maggots of the Coffer, which pay 2 tap, add a black for each swamp you control, and Cabal Stronghold, pay 3 to add 1 black for each basic swamp you control. I do plan on adding Cabal Coffers to this, which does the same thing, except you don't pay into it. But that's Jadar. The reason I pick him as a commander is because he is cheaper than the other legendary creatures, and he makes you that zombie every turn, which you can sacrifice to your different sacrifice outlets, and it comes back at the end step. So it's repeatable bodies to sacrifice to eventually get Torment of Hailfire out to finish off your opponents. Now again, like with most of all of my monocolor commander decks, I do have multiple legendaries that you can use in here. I'll show a few of them. You got Bond to the Glorified. He's indestructible, so he's a good blocker, and it's only a 3-drop, but he can't block or attack unless a creature died under my control. He has a sacrifice outlet on there. Timoret cares about devotion to black, exiles target cards from graveyard, and you gain life for each creature card exiled this way. Drana is a bit expensive, but she can bring back creatures, non-legendary creatures, from your graveyard to the battlefield. Shieldred, a little more expensive, a 7-drop, but you can bring back creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield, and each opponent sacrifices a creature at their upkeep. Liliana, Heretical Healer, another cheaper commander. It's a 3-drop that transforms into a planeswalker that'll help keep opponents from doing things by making them discard cards, and excuse me, also returns a non-legendary creature card to the battlefield. A few other ones. The deck list is in the description of the video, so if you have any questions, any suggestions for how to make this deck work more efficiently, please leave a comment, and check out our other videos on Commander Spotlight. Thank you for watching.